Hi, my name is Rita, and I'm going to be talking about the three angels' messages. And this is a Saved by Grace channel. Okay, so you may be asking, what exactly are the three angels' messages? The three angels' messages are the final messages of warning to the world, which is found in Revelation 14. This message ensures that everyone has had a chance to choose between worshiping God or the beast. When the messages have reached everyone, the time of probation will close and Christ will return to free his people. So in Daniel, it says, "At that time Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered." So pretty much this talks about how the book of Daniel is prophetic, and Revelations is also prophetic, and it talks about what's going to happen in the end times. And in the last days, it's going to be horrible. There's going to be, plagues, and there's going to be earthquakes, and there's always been earthquakes, but during that time, the earthquakes are going to be intensified. And I believe we are living in the last days. You can see the signs everywhere. Knowledge has increased, and there's so many natural disasters that are happening, and just there's just so much that are happening right now that, it's really good to look through Revelations and Daniel's to really understand like what is going on. And so one of the, important messages that we all need to know is the three angels message. So the great war between Christ and Satan reaches its climax as these messages are preached. The people of the world will split into two groups, the followers of Christ and the followers of Satan. The contest will be fierce, and there will be a time of the greatest trouble ever to happen. The angel's message. The first angel's message was to remind God's people to fear God and worship him as the creator, because the judgment is coming. The first angel's message is not only a message of judgment, but also a message of restoration of all things. It is Elijah's message, the final reformation that will separate the remnant of the spiritual Israel from the world and prepare people for the coming of the Lord. So the first angel's message, it reminds us of the Creator, it reminds us who created us and why we're even on this earth, why we even exist in the first place. And so there is going to be a reformation, as in the times of Elijah, and there's just going to be a time where people are going to start to know the real truth, and there's only going to be two groups of people: those who keep the commandments of God and those who have fallen and who worship the beast. So we'll go over that a little later. Here is these two verses are so key to the first angel's message. "Then I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to those who dwell on the earth, to every nation, tribe, tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, 'Fear God and give him glory to him, for the hour of his judgment has come, and worship him who made the heaven and the earth and the sea and the springs of water.'" So we find the same exact wording in the Ten Commandments. In the fourth commandment, to be specific, in Exodus 20. It says, "For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth and the sea and all that is in them, but he rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Why in the world is Revelation quoting from the Ten Commandments? Because the Ten Commandments are still binding. God still wants us to keep the Ten Commandments, It's not, and especially the fourth commandment. What is the one commandment that says remember, but people are saying that we don't need to keep it? It's the Sabbath commandment. And we have presentations on this channel about the Sabbath commandment, and I will link them below also in this video. But pretty much this is talking about the Sabbath commandment, and the Sabbath is definitely going to have a key role in the end times. And I'll also be making a video on the Sunday law and how, that goes into this. But this is pretty much directly quoting from the Sabbath commandment. Jesus said in John 14:15, "If you love me, keep my commandments." And we see this, Jesus quoted exactly from Exodus 20, which says, "And showing mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments." Jesus he didn't come to abolish the Ten Commandments. He just came to fulfill the law. And the Ten Commandments are so important that Jesus even said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." If you love Jesus, of course you're going to keep his commandments. You have to. Now, I'm not saying that those who are not keeping his commandments don't love him, but some people don't know. Some people are deceived and thinking that Sunday is the day that is the Sabbath or the day that we need to worship, but some people really don't know, and God's not going to judge those people. But those who do know and reject it, God is going to judge them. So you have to be careful. And I mean, God is going to judge everyone, but you have to, if you don't know, God's going to basically judge you on the light that you have and not the light that you don't have. And whatever light you have, he's going to judge you on it. Did you keep what you know? Did you follow what you knew to the best of your ability? And if you didn't, sorry, God's going to say, "I don't know you." The everlasting, unchanging gospel. So the everlasting gospel is a great theme of salvation. We are saved by the blood of the Lamb. This gospel has never changed. This is the gospel. This is what needs to be preached throughout the whole world, that Jesus died for our sins and we are saved by the blood of the Lamb. Judgment and grace. The Lamb was slain because the law cannot be compromised. If the law could have been done away with, then Christ need not have died to be saved by grace. Does not give a license for sin, which is transgression of the law. Second angel's message. And there followed another angel, saying, "Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all the nations drink of the wine of her wrath." So this is talking about how, Babylon is, and how that great city has fallen and has made other nations drink of the wine of her wrath. So let's find out what this is. This means ancient Babylon was opposed to Israel. Babylon enticed Jerusalem into paganism and adultery. So it influenced Israel to go into paganism and adultery. Babylon eventually took the whole nation of Israel captive, and only a small remnant returned to rebuild the ancient ruins. So only a small group of people actually came back out of Babylon to rebuild. And so that is what's going to happen in the end times. God is wanting to call us out of Babylon, but not everyone is going to come out. Only a small group of people is actually going to come out. So notice how Babylon had caused the whole earth to become. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Jeremiah 51 verse 7. So here is example. Here's actually what, this verse, the fulfillment of this verse is. Through the centuries of astrological beliefs of the Chaldeans of Babylon eventually penetrated as far as India, China, and Indochina, where divination by the means of stars is still practiced to this day. In the opposite direction, they spread to Syria, to Egypt, and over the whole Roman world. So this is still practiced there. I used to, believe in like astrology and stuff like that, but this is not of God. This is of the devil. So do not practice astrology and stuff like that. Follow the Bible. I may do a topic on that, but the Bible clearly says that we should not be doing those magical, astrological, all those things that are not good. Only from God is what we should be doing, which is, following his commandments, loving him and loving others. That is, what we should be doing. Having a relationship with him, not looking to the stars. Oh, looking to what's your sign? We need to be following God, and this is evil. So be careful. Okay, so the third angel's message is the most fearful message ever given to the world. The third angel's message. Then the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and his image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascends forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night who worship the beast and his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. Here is the patience of saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. We need to be keeping the commandments of God. Here are the patience of the saints. It says right there, here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Now, if you're reading an NIV, which is a newer version, it says commands. This is a right, translation, commandments. So be careful. The NIV, I have the NIV, and I'm starting to think I don't know if it's a really good version that we need to be reading as, Christians, because they do put some things in and take some things out that should not be taken out or put in. So we have to be careful about what version of the Bible we read. But anyways, that's another video. So pretty much, if you worship the beast and his image and you receive a mark on his forehead or in his hand, you will drink the wrath of God. So I will also do a video separately on the mark of the beast and his image, because that is a lot of people are confused on that, and some people say it's a microchip and whatever, but the mark is not a physical thing. The book of Revelations is a symbolic book. It's not literally meaning the things that it's like a symbol of something. So I will definitely go into depth into the God willing, into the beast and his image, and what is the mark of the beast, because a lot of people are confused, and we need to know, because you don't want to be deceived into getting it because you don't know. So wars against the worship of the beast or his image. Accepting an authority of the counterfeit religious system instead of God's authority is the same as worshiping the beast system rather than God. Accepting the first day Sabbath means accepting the authority of the beast in the place of the authority of God, so Sunday. As the beast obtains its authority from the dragon, Revelation 13:2. Acknowledging that authority is the worship of the dragon, Satan himself. So I would love to go into depth into the dragon and the beast, but pretty much Sunday, if you look back on what we were talking about, like how the first angel's message was quoting directly from the Sabbath commandment, it does make sense that a lot of Christians are keeping Sunday, and very few Christians are actually keeping the true Sabbath day. And the Pope has definitely been talking about Sunday, and we need Sunday Mass, and but he hasn't been out there with it, so not a lot of people are talking about that yet. But if you see in his ecumenical or encyclical, it has Sunday sacredness in there. So you have to be careful, and I know a lot of people are, the Sabbath for the Jews. Please go. I'll put the link in the video about the Sabbath and how it wasn't done away with. And how the Sabbath was for man, because in the beginning, Genesis 2 verse 2 and 3, it talks about the Sabbath. Even Adam were not even Jews or Israelites. They were just woman and man. They didn't have a ethnicity to them, and they had kept the Sabbath. So, and even Jesus said, if you let me keep the Sabbath, and Jesus even kept the Sabbath in his death, because he rose on Friday, he died on Friday, he rested on the Sabbath, and then he rose on Sunday. So that Jesus even rested himself on the Sabbath. So I don't know, but of course, the devil is working to deceive people, and we need to be careful not to be deceived, because there's so many, wrong doctrines out there. Revelation 13 verse 2. So they worshipped the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who's able to make war with him? So the persecution of God's people is going to happen around this time, where if you don't bow down to the beast, you're going to be persecuted. And if and it's going to be interesting because, if you research the Catholic Church, they persecuted, so many people for, not bowing down to the Catholic Church. And you have to be very careful, of, following things. Oh, let's all come together because we all love Jesus. So that's called the ecumenical movement. So I'll definitely have to be going into depth into these topics. And it's gonna be a horrible time for God's people, but God will be with you. And that's why we as Christians, we need to get out of the cities. The cities is not a good place to live. That is when think about 9/11, that's not a really good, there's a lot of sin going on in the cities. In the country, you have space, and, and that would be another video, too. Okay, for example, so End Time Babylon teaches that in Christ, all are free to do as they please. So there's Matthew 24:38 and 39. For as in the days before the flood, they're eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark and did not know, until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. So, what are people doing? It is for sure like in the days of Noah. People are eating, they're drinking, they're just, they're not even thinking about God, A lot of people, they go to church, but maybe they don't read their Bible, or they just, they're so busy, with life and the cares of this life. And you have to be careful because those can carry you away, like in the flood. And Jesus is coming. He's going to deliver his people, but there's going to be a small number of people who are actually going to be ready when Jesus comes. So you and I hope you and I, we want to be part of the few people who are ready when Jesus comes. We don't want to be those people who are like wanting the mountains to fall on them. That's a verse in I believe it's in Revelation. And who are going to be hiding when Jesus comes. You want to be like, oh, Jesus has come. You want to be happy on that day. And I have a video on the second coming. I'll link that below. Ezekiel 22 verse 6 says, her priests have violated my law and profaned my holy things. They put no difference between the holy and the unholy, nor have they made known the difference between the unclean and the clean, and they have hidden their eyes from my Sabbath, so that I profaned among them. So, I mean, what else to explain? They've hidden their eyes from my Sabbath. They have, a lot of, Christians, they hide their eyes. We don't need to keep the Sabbath. It doesn't matter what day you worship. You can, whatever. It doesn't matter. We don't need. It's in the 10 Commandments. I mean, how can you ignore God? Even Jesus said himself, if you love me, keep my 10 Commandments. I'll never understand, but I don't know. But anyways, the Sabbath is the 7th day. So, the whole lifestyle of believers in Christ must reflect this relationship. Babylon is an enmity. It's like enemy, which means enemy of God. And it teaches a doctrine of compromise, but compromise with sin is impossible. So, we need to have a whole, lifestyle as Christians. We need to be taking care of our bodies, reading the Bible. We need to have that. And we cannot compromise just because we all love Jesus. Like Rick Warren has a video on. He was saying that, some people think that the Catholic Church, they don't worship Mary, but that's not true. We all love Jesus, and I'm not going to unite with a religion that I don't agree with. But that is what's happening. Pastors are wanting to let's just come together. Let's just forget about our differences. And that is not right. It's better to be divided in truth than united in a lie. So Revelation 14:10 says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. When Revelation says poured out without mixture, it means not watered down. This wrath of God will contain no mercy or grace. So when God's wrath comes, there's not going to be a mixture of, oh, a little bit of mercy. No, it's going to be full on wrath of God. And you don't want to be a part of those people who have the wrath of God. God will protect his people from his wrath, but those who are not his people, he will not protect. So you need to be, you want to be on God's side. You want to start getting ready. I mean, it doesn't matter if Jesus isn't coming for the next 50 years. It doesn't matter. You need to start getting ready today. You need to be ready today, because we don't know the time or the hour or the day that he is coming, but we do know that he is coming soon. So it doesn't matter, because who knows what could happen to you today or tomorrow, but you need to be ready no matter what. No matter, I know we heard about September, what's going to happen in September, but it doesn't matter, whether it doesn't matter what's going to happen or all these events that are going to happen, whether even nothing was happening or the Pope wasn't doing all these, he wasn't visiting Congress. It doesn't matter. You still need to be ready today. You need to be ready, because Jesus could come at any time, and you don't know what's gonna happen to you. So here's some links that I got this information from, and if you would like to do some further research yourself, I'll also put it in the description box along with the videos that I mentioned to put in the description box. So if I haven't, please remind me, because I may forget. But thank you so much for watching my video, and if you have any questions, please email us at safebygrace03@gmail.com, or you can just leave a message, which is a lot easier, in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching the video. May God bless you.